All right, let's take a quick look at what we're going to do with Microsoft Word. Now, most of you are probably saying, why do I need to look at Microsoft Word? I've been using it for years, but I want to make sure everybody understands how to use the online version of Word and what the difference is between the online version and the desktop version. So with that said, we've got, I've logged in here to our Office 365 portal, and this menu right here that you see shows all the different things that are available to us. So we've got the mail, which is what for most of you, you probably use the most often with Microsoft Office 365, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes with it. So we have the calendar and the people. This is our contact list, and obviously the calendar is just that. The news feed is an opportunity for us to actually collaborate a little bit and communicate with others in the SSISD domain, but not something necessarily we're going to focus on yet. Then you've got OneDrive, which is your cloud storage, meaning that you can store things online and have access to that stuff 24/7 from any computer in the world that you can connect to the internet. We'll look at that in another video. Tasks is just like you would expect a task list to be able to stay organized. Delve I'll talk about later, but here we have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint online. Now these are online components. Okay, that means that they live in the cloud. So if you've ever heard of Google Docs, this is very similar to Google Docs. You are using Word or Excel or PowerPoint within a web browser, meaning you're opening up the internet, and it's just like going to any web page that's out there for Pinterest, ESPN, CNN, any of those that you would visit just on a regular basis for daily use. Then we've got OneNote Online, Office Sway, and then most of you won't see this admin panel because that's got the ability to set things up behind the scenes. Now, if you're in your mail, if you go up here to this little waffle icon in the upper left-hand corner, then that will be in the upper left-hand corner of any of these programs as you're using them. But if I click on that, I see that same menu there, and I might have a couple other options. These are things that I've added into mine. So I'm going to start off by saying that we've got two ways that we can create a Word document, or I guess really three ways. We can open up the Word desktop version just like we always would, or we can go ahead and work within the online component. I can very easily create a new Word document online by just clicking on this tile right here. The other option I have is to go through OneDrive, click on OneDrive, and be able to start the file there. Now there's some advantages to doing that. If you want to save your file within a certain folder within OneDrive, I would recommend that you go into OneDrive first. But watch the video on how to use OneDrive for more information on how we would start things from there. My actual recommendation is that you start every Word document that you ever decide to do for school-related business right here within OneDrive, and I'll explain that in that video. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and click on the Word Online one. And you'll see up here now I'm basically living in an online version of what would normally look like for Microsoft Word. I'm going to start a new blank document, and what you'll see is a watered-down version of the full-blown Word version. So people get confused a lot by the desktop version and the online version. The online version is an online web page. The desktop version is a program that's living or it's installed on your computer. And if I was to go to the Start menu on a computer, and I've got multiple screens so you won't see this on the video, but if I go to Start and All Programs and then down to Microsoft Office 2013, I would be able to start up the desktop version of Microsoft Word. So I'm going to show that to you real quick here just so that you're familiar with what both of them look like. So now here I've opened up the desktop version, and you can see it looks very similar to the desktop version, or I'm sorry, to the online version. So if I toggle back and forth here, here is the online version. If you're trying to get into something with heavy formatting, I would recommend the desktop version. Now you notice up here where it says document 12, this is how I'm going to save a file or name a file. So I'm going to call this my video sample. And by doing that, I've now created a document that's living in my OneDrive. Again, we'll look at that stuff later, but it's living in my OneDrive, and I'm using it in my desktop version. Now you notice I have a link right here that says open in Word. If I use this button, after I've created the document online, I can open it in the full desktop version of Word, and when I hit File Save, it's going to save it back to the cloud or to the OneDrive. So I know that gets a little bit confusing, but what we've got is you got the desktop version and the online version. start in the online version, name it, type whatever you want to type in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and open this one, this time in the desktop version, just to show you what that would look like. So now I've got that same document that's opening up in the desktop version, and you see that it's already labeled with the name that I named the file, and I've got the file information that I can use here. Now I want to show you a couple of features that are going to come in handy, but before I do that, I'm going to show you now, if I go back to file, well, before I do that, let me make a change to this document. So I make that addition to it, and now I'm going to say file save. Now, because I started this in the cloud or in the OneDrive, it's going ahead and saving back in there also. So as soon as I close this desktop version, when I look behind the scenes here and I refresh my browser, you're going to notice that my updated stuff that I worked on in the desktop version is also working in the online version. So they're interchangeable. You can use them back and forth. The feature that I want to show you that I think is really important when you're using this with students is the comment feature. So let's say that I have some information here that I really want to respond to the student. So maybe it's a part of their writing, it's a sentence that I think they could reword better. I highlight the text that I want to comment about. And if I hit the review tab up here in the upper menu, I've got this option over here to add a new comment. As I add my comment there, something along the lines of what I posted there, I can say post, and now when the student opens this document up, they're going to be able to see these little comment bubbles, and when they click on that, so if I've gone off of that, if I go back and click on it, it's going to highlight the text and show the comment that I wanted here. Now my student then could even come back in here and reply to my comment, and after the reply to the comment they can say post, and we can see the communication going on, and all of that's still attached to this highlighted text. So the comment feature really comes in handy. Now we're going to open that back up in Word, the desktop version. I'm going to show you the difference of how it looks there. The comment feature is under the review tab, so up here at the top I'm going to highlight some different text this time. I'm going to say review, and then right here I can say new comment, and now I could add a different comment to it and I would be ready to go. And then if I wanted to reply to it, I could also. So the nice thing about that feature is you could work back and forth with your student, and again, all that could be done in the desktop version or online, it doesn't matter. And once I click on the back in the online version, once I click back on the comment, I can see the new comments that were made. Now this comes in really handy as you're trying to give feedback to students. They're working on things without having to worry about printing. They can do this from their tablets or any device that they're using. They will have access to the online version of Word, and that's why we're showing this to you, because in their Office 365 student accounts they have the same access to these apps that you have. So this is an easy way for them to communicate, share documents with you without having to send them to you through email, and be able to comment back and forth without having to print them. Now the last part that we want to show you is how to share a document. So I've created the document, I've opened it in Word, I've looked at several different factors there with commenting. Up in the right hand corner here I've got the option to share the document. So if I click on share, it's going to open up the dialog box to show me what I can do. Now if this was a student and they wanted to share it with the teacher, but they didn't want the teacher to be able to make changes to the document, they just wanted them to be able to make comments, then they might want to go ahead and toggle this right here back to can view only. So you can give them view only access or full edit access, depending on how you want to do that. Now all I would have to do right here is start typing in the name of the person that I want to share it with, and their name is going to pull up here from their contact list. I click on that to make sure that I get the right name selected there. I could type in a message here showing that or explaining what this document was about if I wanted to, and I can require a sign-in. I don't have to do that. I also have the option here to uncheck send an email. Once I say share, it's automatically going to send an email to the person I'm sharing it with. If I elect not to send the email, that person will find it in their OneDrive under the shared with me section. Now there's one other thing here as far as you submitting your information once you get to level 2 and you have to actually make a document that you're going to share with me. You can click right here to get a link, and when you get that link, this is the link that we want you to submit in Credly as you apply for level 2 badge. It'll say to give the share link. This way all we have to do is get this, and it's not cluttering up our shared with me folder. So this is the shared link that you will be sending to us when you're applying for the level 2 badge. All of this now has been saved automatically when I'm in the online version. The desktop version, I still have to say file save, but in the online version, all the changes that I make are automatically being saved behind the scenes. The only thing I have to do is go up here and click in this box at the top to be able to rename that document whatever I want to name it. Now, if I wanted to save it as something else, I can click File, and I could go to Save As, and I can make another copy of that and say that this was a different name, just like you can do with the file Save As in the desktop version. I've got the option to open and share also right through here, and then I could print here just like I would if I was printing in the desktop version. That should be all you need to know to get started with getting the level 1, level 2, and realistically the level 3 badges. Look for more information on Office as we get into further uses with students as we get into level 4 and level 5. Thank you.